Yeah, I'm doing good. Hallelujah. how beautiful you are, Father. Hallelujah. We are live today. Welcome to the Code Searchers Friday live session. Welcome, everyone. If you haven't already, please share on your platforms. Everyone is just now getting here. We may have some Cokie frogs crank up here in a minute because we got some rain just moved in. So we'll just kind of deal with it. Shalom, Code Searchers.
Shalom.
All right. So, as I said last class, we'll start out this way. Let's get the vocabulary done, and we will move into codes. For those of you that are sharing codes today, let me get to my vocabulary, and we will go from there. So we're just reviewing the first 4 modules, and then we'll move on from there. You guys are quiet. Hang tight. Here's my first module. Let's see. All right, so it looks like we're doing 2 through 4 because I don't see number 1. You guys hear that thunder? It's pretty awesome. All right, let's start with 2. Can you guys hear that?
Oh yeah, that was pretty loud. Yeah.
Thunder. It's nice added.
Yeah, it's the thunder.
Oh, Father, you are awesome. All right, so I can. Where's my chat? I'm trying to manage several things at one time. All right, here we go. I cannot see YouTube right now, so help me out, guys. Moderators, if you're watching. Can't manage all of it at once. All right, so very first word, Bereshit. Bereshit, and Bereshit is spelled starting from the right to the left. Abet, Resh, Aleph, Shin, Yod, Tav. It means in the beginning. Usually translated in the beginning. Either answer will be fine and otherwise. So you put that. This is actually a phrase, not a word. Bereshit is a prefix. Bet is a prefix meaning with or in. The Yod Ta at the end of the word is pluralizing the suffix. So the real root word is Rosh, pronounced Rosh, not like our English word rash. You will find rash in Strong's 7217 and 7220. Ab is number 2. It is Aleph and a bet, and it means father. Okay, I can't see you guys chat. I see someone chat. Rash in Strong's 70. Now I can see YouTube. All right, so second one is father, which is Av. Looks like it's H 1 through 4. Yeah, 1 through 4, literally the first part of the Strongs. Abraham is number 3, and it is spelled Aleph, Bet, Resh, Hey, Mem, and it is H85. Ema is number 4, and that is an Aleph, Mem, Aleph, or an Aleph, Mem, Hey. This word means mother. Strong's number H519 through 524. Number 5 is Amet. Amet means truth. It's an Aleph, Mem, Tav. It means truth, stability, sureness, faithfulness, certainty, to verify. H571 is your Strong's. Emunah is number 6. Emunah is faith, and it is an Aleph, Mem, Vav, Nun, Hey, and it is H530. Ben Adam is number 7, which means son of man. It's 2 words, Ben and Adam. Okay. Ben, which is H1121 and 1123, and Adam, which is H119 and 1 through 122. It is Bet, long Nun, which is Nun Sophie, and the Aleph Daled Mem Sophie. Okay, close Mem. Zophon means hidden. It also means north. You'll quite frequently find that Hebrew words have a sometimes a positive and a negative meaning. It's all about context, right? But also a spectrum of meanings. Again, all about context of how you use it. Zophon, Zadeh, Pei, Vav, Nun, and it means hidden or north. H68, 27, and 68, 28. Kodim is number 9, and this means codes. Very similar to Pukudi, right, which is in Psalm 119. This word precepts, very connected to that word, just 1 letter difference. It is spelled Kuf, Vav, Daled, Yod, Mem, which is the plural. The singular would be Kuf, Vav, Daled. It's not in the Strong's Concordance, okay? It's not something that's used there. But Pekudi is there, which you can find, which is precepts. Mishpat is the Mem Shin Pe Tet. It means judgment or sentence. It is H4941. All right. Ooh, what happened there? Okay, let's go to the next one. Stand by. All right, the very first one is a shar. Okay, why is it not on? I don't know why it's not on. Somebody telling me chat is not on YouTube. Let me see why. Hang tight, guys.
It was on mine. I don't know if on the
reason
TV.
It's not now.
Oh, not now. Maybe not on the TV.
And my friend texted me and said that it wasn't loading for her, but that doesn't mean that it's not loading for everybody.
Right. Let me go see why.
Because we're out, we're kind of like in the boonies, so it's not uncommon for us not to get reception.
It won't allow me to make a comment on there, and I have a wrench, so it told me.
Right. So I don't know what that is. Let me go and look and see. I never turned it off, and it says enable live chat.
You might want to try disable it and then re-enable it. or possibly just restart the live stream. Sometimes things will get locked into an off position. You have to turn them off, and turning them back on will force it to change its settings.
Okay, I just did that. Just some curveball that it's thrown at me. All of a sudden.
Looks like it's working now.
All right.
And you have 82 live right now.
Very good. All right. Sorry about the confusion, guys. All right, let's get back to what I hear chicken.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'll turn my mic off. That's my rooster.
Yeah, I was wondering where that was coming from.
He gets a little discombobulated. There he goes. I'll turn my mic off.
Yeah, I find it safer just in case to mute myself until I need to say something, because never
I
know
thought I
what might
was.
happen in the background.
I thought I was muted, and I started moving my cursor around. Yeah.
That's okay.
Oh, whoops.
It's making my computer run slow. Pardon the interruption, everyone on YouTube. Just a moment. Okay. Here comes the rain. All right, you guys got chat now, and we can get back to vocabulary words. Yeah. I'm gonna have to shut this door. Comes the rain. Thank you, Abba. Here we go. Number one is ashar. Ashar is to walk straight, to walk, to be happy, to strengthen, to confirm. So it's also a pronoun, who, which, that, and which. Ashar is aleph, shin, resh. Direct. Direct is a way, road, journey, custom, conduct, manner, or to tread. Direct is daled, resh, kaf. The Torah is number 3. Torah is Tav, Vav, Resh, Hey. It means instruction, teaching. The first 5 books is called the Torah, is a verbal noun. He pointed out, instructed, and taught. Number 4 is Yahuwah's name. Yahuwah, Yod, Hey, a Vav, and a Hey. Number 5 is a Dut. It means testimony or witness. It is a Ayin, Daled, Vav, Tav. Number 6 is Kal. Kal is a Kaf and a Lamed. It means all or whole, the whole of. And Zadik, to be just, to be righteous, was in the right, justified. Zadik is a Zadi, Daled, and a Kuf. Lo is number 8, and it means no or not. It is a Lamed and an Aleph, right? And then a Chuk, which is a Het, and a Kuf is something prescribed, enactment, decree, a statute, a law, or a rule. Shamar is number 10. It means to watch, right? It's the root word where we get shomer. Shomer is the watchman, the guardian. Shamar is to watch, to guard, to keep, to observe, to watch over. It is a shin, mem, resh. All right. The next 10, and then we'll move on to some codes from there. This will be from module 4, I believe. Let's see. Yes, module 4. This was the one that had very small writing. Really quickly, we'll go through these. All right, number 1 is Gamal. It is a Gimel, Mem, and Lamed. It's Strong's 1580 and 1581. It's a primitive root to treat a person well or ill, benefit or requisite, to ripen, to wean, to deal out, to deal with. Number 2 is Strong's 2416 and 2417. It is Chai. It is a Het and a Yod, and it means to be alive, raw or fresh or strong, life or living thing. The next one, number 3, is Pele or Pela, which is a Pei, Lamed, Aleph. It means to separate, to distinguish. My sound's messing up. It's raining for one thing, so that may be what you're hearing. I can't do anything about the rain. Pei and Lamed, Aleph. That's number 3. Number 4 is 1616, which is Ger. It means Gimel Resh. Excuse me. It's spelled Gimel Resh. And it means a guest, a foreigner, a client, stranger. Big tennis ball size raindrops. All right, Ger, it's a Gimel and a Resh. It's Strong 1616. Number 5 is Et, and it is an Ayin and a Tav. It means time or period. Number 6 is Ga'ar. It means to chide. It's a Gimel, Ayin, and a Resh. And it's 1605. Number 7 is Sar or Shoai. It's a Shin and a Resh. It's a head person or of any rank or class, official, leader, commander, or captain. Number 8 is Strong's 1342 and 43 and 44. It is Ga'eh. It's a Gimel, Aleph, Hey. It means to mount up or rise, be majestic or lofty, arrogant, proud, or arrogance. Number 9 is 1350, 51, and 52. And it's Goel, a Gael, which is a Gimel, Aleph Lamed, and it means to redeem. It's the root word of Goel, which is with a Vav as well. So the Gimel Aleph Vav Lamed Goel. Excuse me, Gimel Vav Aleph Lamed Goel. Number 10 is 4100 and 4101, and it's Mach. And it means what or how or why or when. Right? All right, and so that is your vocabulary words. Okay. All right, who wants to go first with shared codes? Paula, do you want to share?
I can go ahead.
I cannot hear you guys, so I'm just going to wing it, all right? So
Okay.
you should be able
Would
to
you,
share.
I can go ahead, Jonathan.
Set it up, Paula.
I'm trying. Let me see.
Oh, no.
Oh, yeah. I think it's right here. Let me see. Oh, my goodness.
Here we go. You
I have
got
to,
this, darling.
I have to kind of go backwards. Let me see. All right, I'm going to go to this one here because I know it's the one for sure. Yeah, sometimes they get this one right here. We're going to do. Okay, this is the ADAR 5780 code. So let me just set this up a little bit. Because the 12th month, which will be the next lunar cycle, will be Adar, and it's still 5780 because that'll be the 12th month of the creation calendar. So for 1 week and one more lunar cycle, it's still 5780, which is 2020 as we know it. Okay, so this is at a width of 674. There were 95 of these found. I chose this width. And so here we have Adar, which is Aleph, Dalet, Resh. And then you have 5780, which is Hey, Ta, Shin, Pei. This lime green across the top is Wormwood, Lamed, Ayin, Nun, Hey. Lamed, Ayin, Nun, Hey. And one time here vertically, Lamed, Ayin, Nun, Hey. Now we also have in this gray 5780 encoded by itself, Hey, Ta, Shin, Pei, cross Wormwood. And then in this pink, also touching Wormwood at the end, we have Purim, Pei, Wa, Resh, Yod, Mem, which will be in that time frame too. Now,
1 days.
Pardon?
21 days.
Yes, 21 days till Purim. And so down here in the brown, we have Nibiru, Nun, Bet, Yod, Resh, Wa. And when I first started this table, I found things like Purim, and then I found the Nibiru, and I found the Wormwood, and even Pesach is here. I think, let's see if, let me go up a little bit here. Pei, Samek, Het is Pesach. So, and this was like, the Wa means and Pesach. It's just an article to help you find it a little better. So it was all seemed very simple and found one time each. But then I thought, well, let me see if because of this wormwood, I've always been trying to see if there's like a connection to the enemy being thrown out of heaven, coming down, say, with wormwood. I mean, sometimes I haven't quite searched it out totally, but I had some things where the Merkabah, the chariot of Yahuwah, is always sometimes there. but I wanted to see. So I put in Satan here, but or yet Satan. And then down in the yellow, we have cast out, cast down actually, which also means he is flinging, Yod Shin Lamed Kaf. So here it is, Yod Shin Lamed Kaf. And then that's strong 7993. In the pale yellow is remnant, Sarid, Shin Resh Yod Dalit. And then I thought, well, if he's been cast down, there's also dragon here in this kind of hot orange. And that is Hey Nun Het Shin. So the Hey is the article, Nun Het Shin, the dragon or Nachesh. So I wanted to see, I know there was a battle going on, right, with Michael. So I put in Mikal or Michael, and we have it here, Mem Yod Kaf Lamed. And it's here a few times. So we got it with the kind of pink letters, Mem Yod, the same Kaf as this Kaf, and then Lamed. And then we got it with the white lettering, Mem Yod, same Kaf, Lamed. And then we have Mem Yod Kaf Lamed. And so what it seemed to me is that if you have the casting down, you've got Michael, the archangel, and you have the dragon. It's like this battle to me. See how he intertwined this all in it. To me, it seemed like when I do a code, sometimes I get in my brain, I get a picture, even though it's not technical. But sometimes there's pictures or indications. It seems like this is a battle going on right here. Now, this green one right here is the noise. Hey, Resh. Resh. Let me see. Resh Ayin Shin is the noise.
No, it's Bible
And
study. This is class.
And we've had this word of the noise in other codes and other studies we've been doing that has to do with like the battle, the commotion, the destruction. And I did a code a few weeks ago on it was called let me see, it was called fear, from the noise of the fear, or like from the sound of dread. So there's there's noise going on with whatever's happening. And so and it also runs right straight across also. Now let me see in the white. Let me see what's in the white. Oh, Shabbat is in the white. So we have in Shabbat, Shin Bet Ta, and then we have Shin Bet Ta right there. And let me see in the purple, there's a purple here. If I can find it. And I can't find it right now. Let me see what we have here. We have Mem Shin Gimel Bet. Anybody recognize that word of the purple? Let's see. Okay, well, I'll have to come back to that at a different time. So let me just tell you, this is all in, when I first started this, and I told you it was so neat and there were just a few words one time. This is all in Exodus, and starts with Exodus 20. right here. Let's go there real quick and see where it is.
Paula, that word means impregnable.
Okay, oh yes, I see it now. Yeah, a defense. It's like Yahuwah is a defense for us in that the ISA uses impregnable. Thank you. Appreciate that. All right, let me see where we were here. Right here. The Hebrew. Well, I've got that big black thing right in the way. Here we go. Olive. Okay, so it's Exodus 26:11. And it says, and so see what's happening here is instructions are being given in this whole access term for the making of the altar and all the instructions. So it says, and thou shalt make 50 taches of brass and put the taches into the loops and couple the tent together that it may be one. And the remnant that remaineth of the curtains of the tent, the half curtain that remaineth, shall hang over the backside of the tabernacle. And then you go down in this Dalit, it talks about the sockets of silver. And then here it talks about make the altar of shittim wood, and then the hanging of the gate. But here, where this ta is, it starts talking about the making of the ephod, which is always pretty awesome because that's where they had the connection to the Almighty. Let's see, this ta. So it's in Exodus 28:5. Is that right? 28:5. Let me go back there. I waited too long. Hold on. Okay, so 28:5. And these are the garments which they shall make: a breastplate and an ephod and a robe and a broidered coat, a mitre and a girdle. And they shall make holy garments for Aaron, thy brother, and his sons, that he may minister unto me in the priest's office. And they shall take gold and blue and purple and scarlet and fine linen. And they shall make the ephod of gold, of blue, and of purple, of scarlet, and fine twined linen with cunning work. It shall have 2 shoulder pieces thereof, joined at the 2 edges thereof, and so it shall be joined together. And the curious girdle of the ephod, which is upon it, shall be of the same, according to the work thereof, even of gold, of blue, and purple, and scarlet, and fine twined linen. And thou shalt take 2 onyx stones and grave on them the names of the children of Israel. 6 names on one stone, and the other 6 names of the rest on the other stone, according with the work of an engraver in stone, like the engravings of a signet. Thou shalt engrave the 2 stones with the names of the children of Israel. Thou shalt make them to be set in ouches of gold. And thou shalt put the 2 stones upon the shoulders of the ephod for stones of memorial unto the children of Israel. And Aaron shall bear their names before Yahuwah upon his 2 shoulders for a memorial.
Okay,
So you can see here
now try this.
what's going on.
Thank you.
You have all the requirements.
Someone's got a live mic.
You have all the requirements of Yahuwah, and then you have all this like battle going on for the evil. And wormwood is like the punishment, you know, the waters are going to be bitter. But that's what I have on this one. And that was ADAR 5780. Does anybody have any questions?
I love that it's in Exodus.
Yeah, I know. Okay,
That's-
so then I just want to show you, I do have the other one on, I want to show you just what the one I found today. Let's see. I'm working on this one right here. Okay, and this is not very developed yet, but been doing a lot of word studies lately, and it's been leading all different places. But I thought to kind of go back and, you know, we learned over the last year or two or so that the word flax in Hebrew, if you do it backwards, you get 5780. So this access term could be either read the flax and the barley, or it could be read earthquake and 5780. So barley is shin ayin red, and earthquake is resh ayin shin, and hey ta shin pei is 5780, and Pei Shin Ta He is earthquake. So it's interesting when a word goes backwards and makes a different word, because it's almost like the Father is encoding something for us.
Right.
Pardon?
The 50 also means like the spot from the plague.
That's right. The leprosy, right?
Right, absolutely.
Yeah, that's right. Thank you, Doug. Yeah, so I use that for the access term. Now in this one, we have wormwood in the green up here, and we have it coming down. We have it going up, Lamed Ayin Nun Hey. This word right here, Pei Zadi Ayin, I was just looking up for extensions, and this means to bruise or wound. And that is found in Genesis 41:13, when Abraham struggled with Yahuwah about if he could find how many righteous men in Sodom and Gomorrah. So you had a story of Sodom and Gomorrah going on up here. This resh right here begins in Bereshit, or Genesis 35:2, where it's talking about putting away strange Elohim. And then this ayin is 41:3 Exodus, talking about some plagues with. But let me show you what other words. We have remnant here in the sharid, in the light yellow down at the bottom. And we have, okay, now one of the word studies I was doing yesterday and today talking about Purim. Purim itself is not here, but the word pur is here. And I found out this morning studying in the Strongs, I went to look up pur or Purim, and I saw that pur, pei wa resh, can also mean, let me see, it also can mean, same spelling, Strong 6331 and 6332. 6331 means to destroy or bring to naught or nothing. And it can mean broken or utterly taken. Where 6332 per, which Purim is based off of, is means the sticks or the pottery shards that were thrown to help them make decisions. And that's where the Purim of Lots comes from, connected to the feast. But then we were studying some of these things, and Molly saw 6333, and it just adds a hey onto per, so pei wa resh hey, and it means it's para, or it means wineskins. And so here we have the para, pei wa resh hey, and then we have per, pei wa resh. And my name is right here in that blue.
That was wine press, Paula, not wine skin.
Right.
Wasn't
But
it?
the one, yeah, oh, it was wine press, the meaning?
I thought so. I'll double check. You
Okay, yeah.
remember? I got it written down.
6333.
Yep, got it. Hang on. No, I'll continue on.
Okay, yeah, check that out for me, please. That'd be great. So, let's see. Let me just go to one of these, this one right here. Did we read that? No,
Yeah, it was wine press, Paula.
it was. Okay, thank you so much. That makes all the more powerful.
Makes more sense too. Yeah.
Yes. Yes. Wine press. Okay. Because they have to be destroyed, right, to get the wine.
For that.
Uh-huh. Okay, so right here, this scripture right here, I'll just read this one. 35:2 in Genesis. Then Jacob said unto his household and to all that were with him, put away the strange gods that are among you, and be clean, and change your garments. And let us arise and go up to Bethel, and I will make there an altar unto Elohim, who answered me in the day of my distress. That should be Yahuwah. Who answered me in the day of my distress, and was with me in the way which I went. And they gave unto Jacob all the strange Elohim which were in their land, and all their earrings which were in their ears, and Jacob hid them under the oak which was by Shechem. And they journeyed, and the terror of Yahuwah was upon the cities that were round about them, and they did not pursue after the sons of Jacob. So that's just a little about what's going on there. And I'll stop sharing there.
It's already so powerful. I look forward to seeing it finished, Paula. Thank you.
Yeah. If you have any terms you'd like me to put in there, you might have, some of you might have more insight, that the Ruach gives you.
We can hang out and talk about it.
Yeah. And I didn't show the palindrome one, but I'll save that till next time of Wormwood, because I'm not sure which one. I'll have to find the right code table, Jonathan.
Okay. Very well. Who's next? Who wants to go next? Who else has got codes? Are you working on anything, Tracy?
I have something.
Okay.
So this is on, the access term is rise up and measure the temple. This was posted on January 13th by the Temple Institute. You can see there were people taking measurements on the Temple Mount. Nobody knows why or what it was for. They were escorted by the Israeli police, but the people who were taking the measurements, they don't know who they work for or what country they're from or anything. So here's access term, rise up and measure the temple. And my two witnesses is also in here. So both of these terms are found in the very beginning of Revelations 11. And a reed like a measuring rod was given unto me, and the messenger stood, saying, Rise and measure the dwelling place of Elohim, and the altar, and those worshiping it. But cast out the court which is outside the dwelling place, and do not measure it, for it has been given to the Gentiles, and they shall trample the set apart city underfoot for 42 months. And I shall give unto my two witnesses, and they shall prophesy 1,260 days clad in sackcloth. These are the 2 olive trees and the 2 lampstands that are standing before Elohim of the earth. Then we have this term, with voices. And Elijah runs through the 2 witnesses. And Enoch is over here in the corner. Then these are the verses associated with these letters. The Lamed here. Hold on, I gotta move this. And he said unto me, you have to prophesy again concerning many peoples and nations, tongues and sovereigns. And that runs through with voices. Then over here, this letter goes to this verse, this letter goes to this verse, and this one here. And if anyone wishes to harm them, fire comes out of their mouth and consumes their enemies. And if anyone wishes to harm them, he has to be killed in that way. These possess authority to shut the heaven so that no rain falls in the days of their prophecy, and they possess authority over waters to turn them to blood and smite the earth with all plagues as often as they wish. And when they have ended their witness, the beast coming up out of the pit of the deep shall fight against them and overcome them and kill them. And their dead bodies lie in the street of the great city, which spiritually is called Sodom and Mitzrayim, where also our master was impaled. And some of the peoples and tribes and tongues and nations see their dead bodies for 3.5 days and not allow their dead bodies to be placed into tombs. And those dwelling on the earth rejoice over them and exult. And they shall send gifts to each other because these 2 prophets tortured those dwelling on the earth. And after 3.5 days, a spirit of life from Elohim entered into them, and they stood upon their feet, and great fear fell upon those who saw them. And they heard a loud voice from heaven saying to them, Come up here. And they went up into the heaven in a cloud, and their enemies saw them. And then this Het in Enoch, and the nations were enraged, and your wrath has come, and the time of the dead to be judged, and to give the reward to your servants, the prophets, and the set apart ones, and to those who fear your name, small and great, and to destroy those who destroy the earth. Then we have fullness of the Gentiles wraps around from one side to the other. And this is the verse for this Yod. And the messenger whom I saw standing on the sea, on the land, lifted up his right hand to the heaven and swore by him who lives forever and ever, who created the heaven and what is in it, the earth and what is in it, and the sea and what is in it. And there shall be no further delay. So I thought that term, no further delay, was interesting for the fullness. Then last days runs through rise up and measure the temple. And they did not repent of their murders, nor their drug sorceries, nor of their whoring, nor of their thefts. And then the 7 thunders spoke their sounds, and I was about to write it, but I heard a voice from heaven saying, Seal up what the 7 thunders spoke and do not write them. They possess authority to shut the heaven so that no rain falls, and in the days of their prophecy, and they possess authority over waters to turn them to blood and to smite the earth with all plagues as often as they wish. And this is interesting. Trump runs through the fullness of the Gentiles, and Obama runs into my two with voices. Maybe that means that Obama's going to have a voice soon. And in Obama and Trump, both this verse, and when they have ended their witness, the beast coming up out of the pit of the deep shall fight against them and overcome them and kill them. And then also in Trump, but cast out the court which is outside the dwelling place and do not measure it, for it has been given to the Gentiles, and they shall trample the set apart city underfoot for 42 months. Then we have, I have taught the prophets and Moses. And this is in the spiritual. In the spiritual, all of these letters run through there. But in the days of the sounding of the seventh messenger, he is about to sound, the secret of Elohim shall also be ended, and he declared to his servants and prophets. These are the two olive trees and the two lampstands that are standing before Elohim of the earth. And after 3.5 days, the spirit of Elohim entered into them, and they stood upon their feet, and great fear fell upon those who saw them. Did I put that there? I forgot to erase that. Then, this is interesting, oil shares 2 letters with his name.
Right, and that's always true. Shem and Shemin are just 1 letter difference. It's the noon.
But this is Aramaic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's still true. I mean, it's showing a truth, something that is true, and this is the secret of the parable of the 10 virgins. What
Right.
the oil is, the connection to the name.
And then in heaven, and the 6th messenger sounded, and I heard a voice from the 4 horns of the golden altar, which is before Elohim. And when the 7 thunders spoke their sounds, I was about to write, but I heard a voice from heaven saying to me, seal up what the 7 thunders spoke and do not write them. And they possess authority to shut the heaven so that no rain falls in the days of their prophecy, and they possess authority over waters to turn them to blood and to smite the earth with all plagues as often as they wish. So I thought that was really cool that all 3 of these verses have to do with heaven. Then this is, the gold menorah is on public display and overlooks the Western Wall Plaza across from the Temple Mount. I believe this is supposed to be the menorah that they're going to use when they build the 3rd temple. I think I read that somewhere. They already have all of their instruments prepared for when 3rd temple goes up. Here's some news about the temple. When the 3rd temple is built, these temple priests will be ready to serve. Jews are allowed access to running water on the Temple Mount, bringing them closer to temple service. And Palestinians turn to Sanhedrin organization of 70 nations, accept role in 3rd temple.
Yeah, we are going to see this thing happen. I found
And
a 3rd temple table back when Obama first became president. And it was indicating this, that we were in this season, that we were going to see this happen. I mean, if you don't understand what the prophetic significance of that is, and I'm speaking to those in YouTube, it's very significant. They have everything ready to go.
Yep,
Even
they do.
here, right? So they've got the red heifers too. Look at there.
Rabbi inspects red heifer in secret location in Israel use in third temple. I know since 2015 they've had candidates. Some of them have been ruled out and some of them have not. And this is from the Temple Institute. And it's the 10th red heifer from Moshe to the second temple, only 9 red heifers. Up until the destruction of the second temple, ashes had been prepared from a total of only 9 red heifers. The very first red heifer was processed by Moshe himself.
So
The 10th, they believe the 10th one will be prepared by the Messiah. So they're saying there's been no red heifer in the past 2,000 years because it was not the right time, possibly. And if there are now red heifers, is ours the era that will need them?
yeah.
So the significance of the red heifer is that when they have the temple, they have to sacrifice a red heifer that cannot have any white hairs on it. And
Or any blemish, any kind of blemish, anything. Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
This
And
is all a part of the cleansing of the temple, to cleanse the area before they build.
Right. They need the ashes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So we have the temple running right here, and third wraps around and intersects with temple, has been being built. Physical. Some people say that it's not the physical temple, that because the temple is, your body is the temple, but there will be a third temple, a physical one.
Right.
Besides, we have instructions on how to build the next temple in the book of Ezekiel.
Yeah.
And then heifer wraps around and it intersects with the temple has been being built and around to here. And the Torah, it's not spelled like the vocabulary word that you showed us at the beginning because this is Aramaic and that was Hebrew. So by third, I thought it was interesting that these 2 verses both have third in them. And the 4 messengers, those having been prepared for the hour and day and month and year, were released to kill a third of mankind. And some of the peoples and tribes and tongues and nations see their dead bodies for 3.5 days and not allow their dead bodies to be placed in tombs. Then this is a palindrome for a sign. It is the word Aleph, Tav, Aleph, and then there's Tav, Aleph again. So it's a sign backwards and forward. And then down here in the plain text is the Ark of the Covenant basically is in his temple.
You know, Chaim Reichman, which is one of the lead rabbi over at the Temple Institute, has admitted on camera that the Ark of the Covenant is not lost. They know exactly where it is. And so,
yeah, I believe they know where it's at.
So all this ties in with the Ron Wyatt stuff. They have it. They know where it is, and they will present it at some point.
Right. So, and the dwelling place, this is where what the verse says, where this plain text is at. And the dwelling place of Elohim was opened in the heavens, and the Ark of the Covenant was seen in his dwelling place. And there came to be lightnings and voices and thunders, and an earthquake and great hail. So that's what this verse right here says. And then here's another, this palindrome is in here 5 times, but I think I only labeled it 4 of the times because it was just too much. But it's a sign. A sign is all over this place, the palindrome for a sign. And this is policemen. I put that because there were policemen out there with those guys. And he measured. And it says, but cast out the court which is outside the dwelling place and do not measure it, for it has been given to the Gentiles, and they shall trample the set apart city underfoot for 42 months. And this is everything put together.
Very interesting density there.
And then those are all the terms that I used.
Yeah, each one of your skips less than 500. That's amazing. Very good. All in the book of Revelation, guys. In the very text.
Yeah, that was just more news on the red heifer that I took out of there. But yeah, that's it.
Good job, Tracy. Very good.
Thank you.
Good stuff. We're seeing the fulfillment of so many prophecies. And that's what chapter 10 is about, when it speaks about all that the prophets say will come to pass. Right. And then that means everything is done at that point. It's completed. It's an amazing time. Marty, do you want to share, brother?
Yeah, I got this oldie but a goodie.
Let's look at it.
Let's see here. Now let me tune something up here first. I want to kill my dock here. All right. You guys see my screen?
Yeah, he died this past year, guys, of COVID-19.
Yeah, so back in June, there was this announcement that Michael Drosnin had died. And we had a discussion over the fact that while the codes he published weren't rigorous, he brought a lot of attention to it. And I certainly got interested in them by reading his book. And Jonathan, you said you had gotten interested in them. But so it was interesting to go back and look at his codes. And of course, as we say, when we're looking at these statistical anomalies in these 1,000-year-old books, you can reproduce it. So it's very accurate because you can take his term, this vertical one right here, sin, the crime of bin Laden, and the other terms, and find the table. So this is the table, sin, the crime of bin Laden. And so it's actually a little bit dense. So I'm zooming into the part in the red square. And so for instance, I believe one of these things is it knock. No, so this is airplane and twin. So these are the terms that I looked at. And as you can see, twin, and these actually occur a couple different times. So Code Finder will actually pick a different skip in some cases, but it's the same access term. Sin, the crime of bin Laden. And of course, when you go and look at it now, we found the 47 other terms that he didn't find. And what's interesting about this is that when we think about what's happening today in the tables that I presented the last time on, this corporation being dissolved and what's going on in the background, well, that's been going on for a long time. And in fact, this little event here is a big old deceit. And so when you go past just confirming the event that happened, sin, crime of bin Laden in 2001, at least that's the way it was spun, there's all these other terms in here, like George Soros. And when I was looking at this back in June, I was looking at a lot of deep state tables. So it was just interesting to go and do this and find a lot of these same terms in this table that Drosnin had found, but didn't look for any of those terms. So as you can see, we have USA, Ephraim, which describes sort of us these days. Deception, twice is a term that Drosnin found for the number of times the planes hit. But the fact that this was a cover-up, hide, conceal, or bury, cover-up, wrapping the table, and that Hey Tov Shin Pei Aleph is in here, which is our time frame. And I didn't look for my name, but might, who knows, it might be in there. It knocked down was a term that Drosnin looked for and is in this table. And we have the beast. And so, this paints a different picture. Michael Drosnin just had 3 or 4 terms that say, hey, that event was in the Bible code. Well, this kind of tells you a little bit more about the event and who might be implicated. And in fact, Tracy, when you did the analysis of Revelation with the, starting with Reagan and then sort of 7, and then, you were doing that whole analysis. If you keep looking at these tables for Michael Drosnin's 9/11 tables, right? So these are the terms I was just showing you: it knocked down and twice and airplane. So this is a different table, but it is, you can tell where the table is centered because in the plain scripture is this phrase, they saw smoke rising above the land like a smoke of a furnace. And that is this table. So this is, they saw smoke rising above the land like a furnace. And here's sin, the crime of bin Laden. When you go and you zoom into this table, so this was the one originally found by Drosnin, and then I sort of looked at it again in June. You can look at the scripture in here. And so where that phrase is, they saw smoke rising like a furnace, is here in Genesis 19. And he looked to Sodom and Gomorrah toward the land of the plain, and he looked and saw the smoke of the land, which went up like the smoke of a furnace. So this is talking about the destruction of Sodom and Gomorrah. And that's the quote as part of this table. And where it says, sin, the crime of bin Laden, and USA and Ephraim, it's in Genesis 28. It said, and Esau saw that Yitzhak had blessed Jacob and sent him away to take himself a wife from there. And as he blessed him, he gave him a command saying, do not take a wife from the daughters of Canaan. And that Jacob had obeyed his father and his mother and had gone to Padam Aram. So Esau saw the daughters of Canaan did not please his father Yitzhak. And Esau went to Ishmael and took Mahalah, the daughter of Ishmael, Abram's son, the sister of Nebaioth, to be his wife, besides the wives he had. So it's just interesting that, this crime talks of Esau. And if you look further into the terms, so again, it knocked down was one of Drosnin's terms.
Right. All right. So let's talk about that. So these are Ishmaelites, which is a covenant son, by the way, everyone. Abraham had 2 covenant sons, Ishmael and Isaac. Ishmael became the father of the Arabs. It was Saudis who were blamed for this, right?
Yes.
That's who Ishmael is, the Saudis, the Arabs. This is the sons of Ishmael.
So what's interesting, so now this is a different access term. This is the other table twin that Michael Drosnin found with these other terms, it knocked down. And And when you look at the other terms in here, these are all indicative of the deep state. So fraud, deceit, Nancy Pelosi's name is in here. Ronald Reagan's name is in here. And then you have all the things about a cover-up: whitewashing, sabotage, fraud, deceit. This is the word, the towers. And then you have, again, like we see when we're looking at some of these things with evil, the remnant, and I believe we also have I will protect in here. The other interesting thing too is, looking into this, I used to be a structural engineer, and looking at the weirdness of this, how it was brought down, the word thermite is in here, which is an explosive used in the demolition of buildings. And it was actually expunged from the official report on this event, but it's here in the code. And of course, we have our old friend Soros, traitor, and instigator in this, and the word demolition that goes along with thermite. So, and this is in the Book of Lamentations. And thermite is encoded right here. So I don't think I went and talked about some of the role of thermite, but I didn't read any of the scripture from Lamentation. But there might be some interesting things to look at here in Ephraim, for Ephraim being encoded in Lamentations 4. That could be interesting. Sabotage being encoded in Lamentations 3:26 through 32. So there's definitely probably some interesting reading here that had I thought about it longer before the class, I might have pulled up some of these verses. But in any case, I thought that would be kind of fun to look at, since especially since Tracy had done the workup on the beasts and the crowns, starting with Reagan.
Right, that's pretty amazing, Marty.
So I don't know if you had ever seen this or not.
I don't think I've seen it filled out like you did. I've seen the original in the book.
Yeah, the original one has like 4 terms.
All of his tables, all 3 books are going to be incomplete, and that's what the rabbis call it, incomplete, or they call it missed draws and predictions, because he would take 2 or 3 terms and make a prediction from it, right? And say this is going to happen, which is, the margin of error is enormous, right? So the more detail you have, the more data you have to work with.
Yeah, so Drosnin, he said, hey, if we had known to look for this, we would have known that the planes were going to fly into these towers. But of course, nobody knew to look for that. But it's funny that what the table actually says is, this is a big, like, there's other ones I haven't developed yet, which I'm going to go back and do with the access term secret crime. So like what these tables say is that this is a secret crime of the deep state, starting with Ronald Reagan.
Yep.
I mean, and we're not accusing anybody of anything. We're just pointing out a whole bunch of anomalies in a 3,000-year-old text that just happen to be there and are extremely improbable.
Yeah, the evidence seems to point in that direction, right? There's no coincidence that you got almost some 3,000 structural engineers who have come together, and it's a consensus, they're unanimous that the use of thermite was absolute. It was there. They found evidence in the ruins of thermite. They saw it on camera. They said that the collapse of 7 was a controlled demolition. There was no way that building fell on accident or, catastrophe, right? Or the other 2 buildings, which cannot be the result of burning airplanes.
Right.
They brought them down, right? And there's evidence that there were Israeli demolitions people in those buildings weeks before it happened. So all of this can be seen. And some of the codes that the rabbis found about bin Laden and the towers and stuff, you can find that information in there. So I think the Arabs are patsies, very much like the JFK thing. They kind of steered it and allowed it and enabled it to happen. I don't doubt that there was a legitimate conspiracy by Arabs that wanted to do, or Muslims that wanted to do harm to Americans, but it was enabled and instigated and steered by the deep state to happen. Even when you see him sitting in the classroom reading that book, if you look at the vocabulary words for that day, almost look to me like a spell, like something witchcraft, because they were reciting it over and over again from the teacher. Remember that? I don't know if you guys caught that, but that's a real thing. All the vocabulary words that the teacher was going through was about the event that was taking place at that moment.
So what's interesting is that, this table definitely tells a story about the fact that this was a deep state operation and a cover-up.
Planned for a long time.
And used for their ends. And, this is, the odds of this being random chance are minuscule. It's 20.6 quadrillion to 1 that this is not random chance, this table.
And even Reagan is connected. 32.
Yeah.
That's in one line.
Yeah, that might be interesting to read there too. So I thought that would be fun to look at again.
Oh, kind of reminds me of the JFK table, which has a lot of revelation there too. Especially when you have some of the unofficial data points, because the official narrative leads you in the wrong direction. He was shot from the front, not from behind, in the fatal shot. All right. Any more codes? Anybody else got codes? Doug, did you have anything you wanted to share, brother? Are we still? Did I drop out?
No, we can hear you.
Okay. Did Doug leave? I don't see him. Okay.
A couple people went over to YouTube to watch you rather than stay in here and keep the room crowded.
Okay. All right. Very well. All right. So I can show you guys what I got. I want to show you a clip from, you guys are familiar with Adapt 2030, the YouTube channel? Let me show you something. And then we'll talk about the Trump tables that I got. So this is something I've been working on. I want you to see this, make sure you can hear it. You start talking about something here.
And then the last thing is going to really freak people out is the blue comet that's coming through on the winter solstice of 2022.
It's really low.
So that'll be another one. It's this big comet, Pan-STARRS K2 2017C. Was the furthest out interacting.
How often does that circle around?
It doesn't. It's the first time it's ever been in our solar system, but it's blue. It was the furthest out ever energetically interacting with the sun. That's how they spotted it so long ago. It's the furthest distance out ever to interact with the sun as a comet. Apparently, it's going to be as bright as the full moon during the day, and then in the evening, it's going to take up a percentage of the sky. But it's blue, like the blue star Caccini with the Hopi legend. So that's going to send people off their rockers too a couple years before this 2024 alignment gets here, and it's all going to be. Nobody knows yet, really. They haven't gotten that close to look at it, but the coma is already this is 2 months ago. It was at least 10 degrees of arc across the sky, and that's still out past Saturn, way back out there, right around Uranus or something.
10 degrees of arc, and I seen somewhere when I was looking at some information on it, it was like 500,000 miles is how long the tail is on this thing. So very interesting comet that it's making an approach. So it was no accident that you would kind of drop that on me. Here it is in Wikipedia And then there's some JPL information on it. I don't have that in front of me, but we'll just kind of skip through this. And so you'll see what we're talking about here is it is C 2017 K2. Interesting thing about this comet and where it dwells currently and has dwelled since it was found more than 7 years ago. Any guess, guys, on where this is? It's in Drago, the dragon. Very interesting. All right. So here's what it says over at Wikipedia. C 2017 K2 Pan Stars is an Oort cloud comet with a hyperbolic orbit discovered May 2017, right before the Great American Eclipse. This is really interesting because it was May 21st when this was found. I think it's what, August 21st was when the eclipse was. So interesting. All right. So it was discovered in May 2017 at a distance beyond the orbit of Saturn. When it was at a 16 AU, 2.4 billion kilometers from the sun. Pre-recovery images from the 2013 were located by July. It has been in the constellation of Drago since July 2007. As of April 2020, the 3 sigma uncertainty is the current distance of the comet from the sun is about, I don't know what this, anybody know what that signal, that sign right there means? I'm sure it's significant. There's a way to say this. So it's 10,000. Is that that's not astronomical. It would be AU. I don't know what that is, but it's 10,000 kilometers or 6,200 miles. The comet is record breaking because it's already become active at such a distance. Only comet Hale-Bopp produced such a show from that distance and having a similar nucleus. So if you guys recall, there was a comet in the mid-90s, I think it was. It's called Comet Hale-Bopp, and it was seen in the sky. Another sign, right? So here we are again with another one that seems to be having the same characteristics. Say again?
That symbol is the plus or minus sign, like plus or minus, like either or, one or the other, plus or minus.
It's kind of hard to see that the it looks to me like a Japanese character or something. With these glasses aren't really good to. Anyway, only comet Hale-Bopp produced such a show from the distance, having a similar nucleus. However, this comet will not be as visible as Hale-Bopp was in 1997, which was pretty bright in the sky. Although it will reach naked eye visibility on its perihelion, astronomers have never seen an active inbound comet this far out. Okay, so this was this Wikipedia was done a while back. So I think some things have changed and opinion have changed about how bright this is going to be when it makes its appearance. So let's see. Just got some other, here's kind of its path and expected trajectory through our solar system, again, coming from Draco. Now, that's really interesting because we're giving this dragon, this dragon imagery from the Bible for a reason. Remember, the dragon is cast down. And I'm not saying something is going to happen with this comet like cataclysm, though it's possible. That's not what I'm seeing in the codes. And I did find it encoded by its nomenclature, which is Comet 2017 K2 is the access term. I didn't mean to do that. Trisha, did you have a question, or is that from earlier?
No, I was just going to make a comment. I think you posted on Discord an article or a video about the mental effects of comets and, like, on behavior or something. I haven't had a chance to listen to it, but I was trying to remember with the Hale-Bopp, is that when that came by, was that when they had all those in Southern California, like cult people would, like, it meant
yeah,
that they were
that's
going to
right.
get taken away and they committed suicide in mass
That's
groups. I
exactly
mean,
right.
there
Heaven's
was a
Gate.
large like influence on people when that thing passed by. So I just, like you say, it may not be a cataclysmic type event, but it may affect people in different ways.
You're right. People, especially those who don't have an understanding of what he is showing us and telling us. He's telling us something in the stars. Those people clearly went off in the deep end and was under some kind of psychosis when all that went down. They actually believed the comet was a spaceship, and
Yeah,
they
that's
committed
right.
suicide. So that's not how we view it. It is clearly he was showing us something in the stars. A harbinger is what it is. As a matter of fact, that word is encoded here with this this access term. This is the Comet 2017 K2 is the access term. Harbinger is right above that. These are just markers I have here. This is not anything significant. I went, was going line by line, looking at where the scripture is, and this is in the prophets, by the way. There is a connection to Nibiru. Even going, the interstellar object Oumuamua, which is a Hawaiian word, which means the messenger who arrives first. That's a strong implication. What do you mean? What's coming next, right? So those scientists who found that here in Hawaii at the telescopes up there obviously know something, and there is an effort. They're looking for Planet X here. That is a project they're working on. So what do they know? What do you mean? The messenger who comes first? What's coming next? Right? These are harbingers. These signs that you are giving us is a harbinger of the Planet X anomaly, Nibiru. The Bible calls it wormwood. Isaiah 24, Isaiah writes about it, the effects that we're going to see on the earth. There's more detail in the book of Revelation of this same event. It's a cataclysmic. It's a wake-up call for the world. They know, everyone will know simultaneously that judgment has started when these things start to happen. The remnant is protected through the whole thing. Don't start freaking out. Don't start freaking out like the Hebrews did at the foot of Sinai when Yahuwah spoke, right? They were terrified when the whole earth shook and there was lightning and thundering and sounds of shofars going on. They were terrified. The world's going to be like that again when the heavens roll back and he makes his approach. In the physical, we will see physical anomalies, physical things happening. So this Planet X anomaly will appear as a red star, as a red object in the sky. It'll be viewed some 40 days out. It's not just going to sneak up on us. It's going to be something that we see for a while approach us. And then there will be an interaction in our solar system with these objects, which cause, and even now, the approach is causing perturbation of our planet.
Do you need to go get gas?
Yes.
For the heaters?
Those things?
The heaters, the propane. No, was the plan to get propane today?
Yeah, we need to get that. I thought you were talking about that. If you want to pick up some of those too. Sorry, guys. Darla's trying to. We're trying to get things done before the sun goes down. Anyway, there's going to be perturbations in our. Yes, Darla. If you want to go in and handle that. And I don't know. Michael's in class right now, so.
You put them in the car for me.
Okay. Sorry, guys. All right, some of the words that are here. Nibiru's here. Very close proximity to this, so I think they're connected in such a way that one is harbinger of the other. It means pay attention to the skies. We're going to see something in the near future. There's nothing to be afraid of, folks. That word in the Gehez, which is the Ethiopic, is a legitimate word. Nibiru literally means because of love, El came down. The throne of El came down. There's a connection to the throne room of heaven to that word in the Gehez. which is completely different than the Sumerian text and stitches and all that kind of stuff. It is a legitimate word. I find that fascinating because the implication is in the physical realm, we're going to see that a planet object. But what's happening in the spiritual is just like what John sees with Revelation. He flips back and forth. Right? He sees an angel. It takes a censer, dips it into the altar, which gets the coals, and he flings it at the earth. And then when he sees from the earth perspective, he sees what? He sees a fiery mountain that's been cast to the earth. You see that? He's seeing the physical and the spiritual, and he's given us both in that. He flips back and forth in that whole sequence. So, that's kind of what we will experience. There, see the connection up here to Kakav, which is star. Kakav is the yellow here, and it spans this way, sharing a letter with another occurrence of Nibiru that runs right here. So again, in one line, we can see a direct connection with Kakav and Nibiru. This word Nibiru is encoded in it's either Exodus or Deuteronomy, one of the two, where Balaam has a vision. He talks about the scepter, a star from Jacob, right? Shall appear. And it's all about the Messiah. The Mashiach is coming with this, right? Some have said, okay, well, that's talking about what the Magi saw with the birth of Yeshua. Correct. It's also going to be again with his second coming. It's going to be another star will appear, and we will see this. The secular world will call it Nibiru. I'm showing you in the text. It's synonymous with what we are seeing in the scripture, calling it wormwood. This very same event. They're sharing the bet here in this one line. There is a Mashiach involved. You see Mashiach of Yahuwah, and we can see the word otiot, vertical here. Otiot, it can mean signals, signs, and vertical in that very same line, we've got sha'arit, which is what? Vocabulary word. Remnant. Remnant of the house of Israel. See that there? Sha'arit. And the aleph is being shared with otiot, which is signals. Signals, signs for the remnant, the house of Israel. We're going to see these things concerning the Mashiach. And I just happened to see my name right there. That's kind of funny how that just popped out. So we're meant to pick up on these things. They're not here by accident. All of these terms, et zara, the time of distress, running across here. That is exactly where we're in, the time of distress, mentioned in Jeremiah 30, verse 7. The exact text that's running through here. Jacob's trouble and this comet are in the same period. This is what we would call, like Nibiru. You've heard Marty talk about this. It's like a benchmark, a marker, a time marker. And we can see the interaction it has with the encoded text. It's marking something, just like when we have the comet, the nomenclature of this comet and Jacob's trouble. It is in the same period. This comet has never been in this solar system before, as you heard him say over Adapt 2030. So it's very new to this. This is the first time it's come through. It is a harbinger. I don't know what it's going to do in the sky. I can't make predictions on that. I do know it's going to be a signal. It's going to be a sign. Where it appears in the constellations, we are to look at and understand what the Father is showing us. Okay. It may put on a big show. It may not. I don't know that. I just know that it is a signal, and we're supposed to understand that. A matter of fact, it is a signal is actually written across in the orange here, all the way across, which is 6 letters. It is a signal. Marker in time, letting us know something. Let's read that scripture here, because it is relevant to the time that we're in now. And I know that there's some who disagree with that, but this is not about my opinion. This is what the evidence is pointing to, folks. And if your interpretation of the prophetic narrative differs, I don't have a dog in this fight in the first place. This is what is. I have no choice and no opinion on where these codes fall. And so I see the connection to this comment and this particular scripture we're going to read, which is the very same scripture where the lockdown of the United States, which has never happened before, also appears with Jacob's trouble. This has not been a pattern that we've seen here in the past before with these tables. Jacob's trouble hasn't appeared in a lot of these tables, but now all of a sudden it is. I mean, if you think about it, the odds, we're talking about some 30,000 possibilities in the prophetic chapters. And one happens to come through in the particular subject matter that we're looking at. The odds of that is at least 1 in 30,000. Okay, so it's something to take note of. Let's read what it says here. So we're going to be in Jeremiah at this point. I'm going to back up and get some context here. Thus speaketh Yahuwah Elohim to Israel, saying, write thee all the words that I have spoken unto thee in a book. For lo, the days come, saith Yahuwah, that I will bring again the captivity of my people in Israel and Judah, saith Yahuwah, and I will cause them to return to the land that I give unto their fathers, and they shall possess it. And these words are the words that Yahuwah spoke concerning Israel and concerning Judah. For thus saith Yahuwah, we have heard a voice of trembling, of fear, and not of peace. Ask ye now and see whether a man doth travail with child. Wherefore do I see every man with his hands on his loins like a woman in travail, and all the faces are turned to paleness, right? So men are bent over, holding their sides in anguish, like a woman who's giving birth. Alas, for that is a great day, and so there's none like it. It is even the time of Jacob's trouble. This is a marker in time that's unique. This is not something that's happened over and over again. Okay? Listen to what he says. It's a time of Jacob's trouble, but he shall be saved out of it. So if you're grafted in, or if you're part of the remnant, you're part of Jacob, you should have no fear. But if you're part of a group called the church in any way, he is not talking to you here. He is not talking to you here. Jacob's trouble is about Jacob, the remnant, and he's in distress. But the Father comes to save us out of it. We're not being punished here. We're being persecuted. That's what's happening. The Father comes and saves us out of it. For it shall come to pass in that day, saith Yahuwah Zavaot, that I will break his yoke off thy neck, and I will burst thy bonds, and strangers shall no more serve themselves of him. Jacob's being oppressed. But they shall serve Yahuwah their Elohim, and their David their king, whom I will raise up to them. Therefore fear thou not, O my servant Jacob, saith Yahuwah, neither be dismayed, O Israel. And that's synonymous. Israel and Jacob are synonymous, as well as Ephraim. Jacob gave the banner to Ephraim. He said Ephraim would be the fullness of the Gentiles, the Milah HaGoyim. So we're talking about this is all the same people. Jacob is Israel, is Ephraim, which is the 10 tribes, and not Judah exclusively. Okay? Judah's a part of that, but he is not the sum of, the complete of Jacob. There's one tribe. Okay? Israel is still in diaspora. Israel is still scattered. Even though they're coming together in little communities, this pre-gathering that's happening, they're still in diaspora. It's Yeshua who comes and gathers us. Therefore fear thou not, O my servant Jacob, saith Yahuwah, neither be dismayed, Israel, for lo, I will save thee from afar, and thy seed. So that means your children too. You cover them. I know some parents are worried about their kids. I worry about mine. And he's promised he's covered them. and thy seed from the land of their captivity, and Jacob shall return and shall be in rest. That word sharit, remnant, also means rest, the ones who are given rest. But there's no rest for the who? What? No rest for the wicked. That's right. It's the wicked who are dealt with when he gets here, folks. He comes and saves us, and he deals with the wicked. Jacob is in trouble, in distress. The nations are in distress. He comes and saves us out of it, okay? So the wrath he pours out is not to us. We witness it. It's like your child being, molested or abused in some way, and you show up on the scene and pour out your wrath on that perpetrator. You're not pouring it out on your child. You're pouring it out on that wicked person, correct? You understand what I'm saying? That is what is going to happen. He comes and saves us out of it. And he's pouring his wrath out on the wicked. All those who got away with what you just saw, right? When he said, I wouldn't lift one finger to stop it, because he wasn't going to exalt false prophets. He has a day in mind when he comes and deals with that wickedness. And everybody will see and know it was him who did it. They didn't get away with anything. It is he who exerts judgment on the leaders, the princes of this world, the kings, the presidents, all those wicked ones. We witness it. And they know it's coming, guys, because the Bible prophesies and says, what will they say? They will cry out for it, because they're hiding themselves in caves and under the ground. And when they see the wrath of the Most High coming, they say, fall on us. They tell the rocks, fall on us and destroy us. Hide us from the wrath of the Most High, because they know it's coming. That is why the Vatican is watching for stars, because they know it's coming. And who is he dealing with first? He's dealing with the church. He's dealing with the leaders of the world, presidents and princes and wicked ones. And he's coming to save us out of it. He's not coming to destroy us. So there shouldn't be no fear in the remnant at all. There should be relief, exhilaration. It kind of excites me, because we're going into a new age. When we tabernacle with him, it is going to be unlike anything we've ever experienced. Right? We're going to be with one another and with him. But there's some things here that's got to be wrapped up first. So that's what I got so far in this. Still very new. And I did mention in one of the last programs that I found something. Okay, again, that's markers. I found something concerning Trump, right? Because they're not going to impeach him. They can't. So what's the alternative? Because he cannot come back, right? They're going to take him out. And so that is encoded here. The death of Trump is encoded at a very small skip. And it is in Proverbs. Really weird that it's in Proverbs, but it's there. Also, 2021 is a very significant year for this. It caps the top of that access term. You can see here that the word poison is a palindrome on itself, right across the top. I also found that same word in the other table, the Donald Trump table that was very accurate about him becoming president, also has, found by the rabbis, this anomaly, which is the name of the assassin, is the anomaly in the yellow right there. So his name, Donald Trump, is right here. And this anomaly literally says the name of the assassin. Not a proper name. It's not like, it's telling you it's Jack Smith or something. No, it's literally saying that phrase, the name of the assassin. It could be implying that Donald Trump is the assassin for all we know, right? It's all about context and hindsight as well. when we see these things happen, and I'm not wishing this on anyone, folks, but the fact is, this is here. And it's been here, you know, well, since Proverbs was penned, a very long time. The word poison is here right across where it says the name of the assassin. And if you recall, when COVID-19 became an issue with the president, I was concerned because it crossed over this and also shared a letter. I don't have that here right now. I pulled that back out because he lived. So we're still looking to see it. And I do believe he's still at threat. Though he's not in the office, they still want to take him out. And so I think he's in a greater danger now that he is not in office, because his circles of, you know, they had him layered in protection. He'll still have a team, a detachment of Secret Service, but not like it was when he was in office. And who they attached to him may be compromised, right? Because this Holy of Holies, which is crossing the name of the assassin, implies to me inner circle, Holy of Holies. Matter of fact, I think that's a term used in the presidency by the Secret Service, talking about the inner circle of the presidency is the Holy of Holies. Now, only certain people got in there. So it's like strict, right? You got to be like the man to get next to the man. So could these people be compromised? Because what this code is involved with over here and the other one is poison. And that is very personal. You got to get very close to someone, to their meal, to a doorknob, to, you know, if they touch something, you got to be very close to them. This is not like a sniper from 1,000 yards. This is a friend. This is like et tu, Brute, right? You too, Brutus? That kind of thing. So methyl is connected to the palindrome of poison. And I was informed by a subscriber that methyl cyanate is a real thing used by the CIA. Methyl cyanate is a drug they use to assassinate people when they want to do it very discreetly and make it look like a heart attack or something like that, right? I hear some thunder as I say that. Evidence. Okay, so evidence is right here. What I didn't tell you the last time that we saw this was what's in between, because that's actually a vertical anomaly here, which it says methyl. How does it go? Methyl evidence on the methyl evidence on the rod. Methyl evidence on the rod. With poison. So this is what I see when I hear that. You know, there's some doors that are like a rod that goes across. You push that rod to open the door. It's in a lot of government buildings. Even in like handicap thing. I mean, handicap people use those kind of things. So that's what I saw when I'm thinking about this. I don't know it to be a thing. This is all speculation. I'm not making any kind of predictions. I am an analyst looking at a very peculiar code. There is a 7 abominations that crosses the death of Trump. Another subscriber brought to my attention the 7. What is an abomination to the Father? Anybody know what the Bible says? There are 7 of them. The 7 deadly sins are abominations. That's interesting because, I mean, there's a direct connection with the death of Trump with the 7 abominations. I don't know what that is, but
Sexual immorality.
That's one of them. You know, that's one of them. Gluttony, you know, is another one. There's 7 of them, and they're Yahuwah calls them bad, and you will usually find these kind of traits with the elite of the world, the very narcissistic me, I don't care who I kill kind of Hillary Clinton types is exactly who these are. 7 abominations. If you look at each one of them, you'll see those in their lives. That's the fruit. That's the fruit of the tree that they produce. Okay.
I've got them. It says, a proud look, a lying tongue, hands that shed innocent blood, a heart that deviseth wicked imaginations, feet that be swift in running to mischief, a false witness that speaketh lies, and he that soweth discord among the brethren. That's Proverbs 6:17 and on.
Yeah. And there's where it is. This is not an accident. This is where this is encoded. So I'm not making accusation, speculating, yes, here and there, but it is what it is. This is the only time this is encoded. It's in this place. America is, okay, so a Met is also very close, I mean, sandwiched right in between. So we got truth. This is the truth. And America is connected to this here. The destroyer is in very close proximity to this. This is the death angel. This word is used in the Exodus when the death angel passes over. The destroyer, the one who comes and takes the life. Okay, it's also a root word of that is Mashiach. Right. So who comes and gets his garments, stained in the winepress of the wrath of his anger? Mashiach. He is also the destroyer. He is the one who gives life and takes life, folks. We don't do that. We don't take up and kill and murder. He does that. Or he commands it. Let me just clarify myself, because somebody said, well, Codesearcher in the Old Testament, didn't he command? Yes, he did. And these weren't just innocents, okay? That's an illusion. We're talking about Nephilim, those that didn't have a soul. They were hybrids. They were not to be, and they became giants. They were cannibals. They were wicked, and they would destroy. If Yahuwah hadn't done something, they would have destroyed the earth. These are the same ones that appeared before David. The giant Goliath was a Nephilim, and he had 4 brothers, which David killed as well. So, don't get convoluted and misinterpret what is going on and take fragments of the scripture out of context and what's actually happening there. There are times where Yahuwah did command to kill, but that is not something that's happening in this time. He does the judgment. The president is right here, right up under that. The United States, same skip as the year is Minnesota Brit, which is the United States. It's in the purple. It's in the same skip as the date. And I am forgetting it's what was that word? I know, cyanate. That's what it is. Okay. So one of my subscribers said, check and see if there's a connection, because he knows for a fact that the CIA uses methyl cyanate, and the word cyanate is here. It's on both sides. So that's kind of concerning. Again, I am not making a prediction. I'm just showing you what's here. It's either here, it's not here, and I don't get a choice in it. So it appeared on both sides of this axis term. Cyanate. Different than the word cyanide, but it's the same thing. It's a well, not a compound, because it's a methyl form. It's liquid. Okay, so this is going to be like methyl is alcohol, right? Like something that evaporates. Methyl cyanate is the concern here. Yeah, so still a lot to search on this. Very concerning table. I think he's even in more danger now than he was in office. And so if we see something all of a sudden happen, guys, you know what happened. It wasn't an accident. It wasn't natural. Any questions or Anything you guys want to add? If anyone is talking, you're muted. I don't hear anyone.
I do have something I want to add.
Yeah.
So The Simpsons.
Yeah, someone told me that was actually something that was faked. So this is what we got to vet things when it comes to this day and age where everything is, my gosh, man, the internet is full of so much misinformation, and that is, by the way, is done intentionally. It is a tactic of the deep state to throw out lots of misinformation. So I thought that I posted that and said that was a interesting anomaly, and then someone called me out and said, hey, that is actually fake, you need to research that, and I did, and that's it wasn't even done by the real guys that do the Simpsons. It was just a snapshot. There's no video of that show. It's just that one picture.
Do you mean the one with them in a coffin?
Yeah,
I've seen that. I've seen that one.
The research I did, it's only one picture, and there's no, because there was never an episode with that in there. Someone made it up. I would look a little deeper, brother. If you could pull that in, if you could pull that video of it, that would be cool. I'd like to see that, and then I will be correct.
It was a sequence. I did watch part of it. It was a sequence where, like after, like he becomes president, and then there's a part where there's a coffin, and then they say, Lisa is like saying, "Oh, look what he did! He left us all in all his debt. Now we got to clean all this stuff up," and like going through all these different things about what had happened. I'll see if I can find out what episode it is.
Yeah, please do, because I could never find an episode. All I could find was that it was a cartoon drawing. It was just a picture of that scene. This is how Mandela effect works. It's psychological. It puts false memories in people, and they say, "Oh yeah, I saw that episode," right? And then when you go and research, you can't find it. So we got to be really careful with that trick. That's something that's very real, and that is why Mandela effect is such a thing now. Because when you go back to the original Hebrew text, there's nothing changed. There is nothing changed.
Yeah, I've actually had thoughts on trying to figure out like how they're using the Mandela effect to change some of this stuff, because some scriptures are actually changed and some are not. And
the way everything that's so-called change you will find is a revision from King James or whatever a publisher of that Bible. And what is a revision? Revision is a change. They're telling you in the word revision. So they're making changes to it to make things more modern, but the changes are very noticeable. Sometimes even those revisions, there's a publishing company that's taking out whole chapter and verses. That's their revision, right?
There's actually an incident where they've been watching things change. Like some of the stuff will change and then change back. And this is like printed Bibles like that have been printed for a long time. People have been using them for years. And the one guy was saying he keeps seeing Psalms change from Psalms to Psalm to Psalms with an S, without the S, with the S, without the S, for plural and singular. He keeps watching it change back and forth over and over again. There's another guy who tracks this stuff, and in Leviticus 15:29, where it said that they would sacrifice turtle doves, some lady emailed him saying it had changed to turtles. And so he checked it out, found that the text said it had changed to turtles. He started listening to the audio over and over again. And then one day, like 2 or 3 days after he saw that this text had changed, the audio kept saying turtle doves. But then 2 or 3 days later, the audio started saying turtles. So like he was catching this change in mid change. And there's a bunch of stuff that like we're seeing more and more egregious changes happening that are like they're changing the meaning, but it's like is it's already printed Bibles, but it's like it's affecting the King James version. But I have a NASB, and the NASB it still says turtle doves. It still says like honor instead of like what was it? Certain words where it is still the original word in the Hebrew, like it still says that in the NASB, but it's been changed in the KJV. And like I have the Et Sefer, and the Et Sefer is based off the King James version, and that is changed as well. So
Really?
I've noticed, yeah.
Dr. P would be interesting to know that.
Yeah, because I've seen, yeah, oh yeah.
I'd like to
I've
see
seen,
that.
yeah, I have the Et Sefer, and I went through to check it because I was like, okay, wait a minute. No, okay, this says turtles. It used to say turtle doves. I know it said turtle doves. I remember hearing about the sacrifices they would do, and it said turtle doves. And now it says turtles. This is a quite
I don't know
recent
why I would
thing.
say turtles. I mean, turtles don't
Yeah.
even make sense in the first place. Turtles is not is something that's kosher.
Right. Well, they were. He actually had recordings of people saying specifically from that organization that starts with a Papa, planned something, something about parenting and stuff, that particular one. So
Planned Parenthood.
well, I was trying to skirt around that without just blurting it out. But yeah, that exact one. So since we are on YouTube and their algorithms are
Yeah, we gotta be
working, I'm
careful.
trying to skirt around and be word safe. So one of the guys from there in the 60s said they were going to start changing the words. Now, that's interesting because I don't even know if CERN was an idea in most people's mind yet, but he had a recording of this guy saying they were going to change the Bible, and they were going to change the words they were going to use, and they were going to start slowly at first. And I honestly think that like all the companies that had, the weird changes of stuff, the company names, the Nelson Mandela himself, I think that they were all just tests. They were trying with product names, see if they could change stuff, and then they actually then did a person. And then of course, we all saw the funeral live, but I remember him being gone way before then. And I found a book that actually stated it was an English book that was written, and it had to be edited back in the 1980s because he had passed away in 1980 something, and it was written in like 79 to 80, and he passed away around 80 to 81 the first time, and they had to re-edit the book while in publishing, stating that he passed away, and it was still there in the book. It's called Residual Evidence. I read the book. It was a South Africa English book, and so it was about teaching kids English. It's one of those residual evidence things that they didn't catch. It still was left behind. And I read this. I saw this firsthand. So I mean, so this stuff's real. But I think they were testing it, and now they're focusing in on the Bible, just to
Well, the
change
Bible
it.
says that heaven and earth will pass away, but His word remains, brother. His word doesn't.
Right. But
His word doesn't change, and they can't do anything to change it. So
the King James version, though, they're
I don't want to
targeting the
cast
King
any
James
kind
version.
of fear into people that they can't, trust their Bible. Okay, so you can see once you get to a point where you can search codes, you can see clearly under strong delusion, Mandela effect is encoded there. So I would stay far away from that, because he said they don't want to love the truth. I will cause them to believe a lie. So be very careful with the content, that the rabbit holes that you go down. I'm telling you, sometimes it's just that, a rabbit hole, because I can show you in the Hebrew, there's nothing changed. It's always been the same. It is the King James because of revisions. I'm telling you, it's a psychological thing, brother, and we got to be careful with that.
Okay.
A lot of people have run wild with it, and
Yeah,
I believe they're caught up in delusion at this point.
I do understand if it's going to stay the same in the Hebrew, it's probably because I think they probably can't affect it.
I mean, that's exactly what they do. Every year there's a new revision that comes out.
Well, these are like Bibles that people have had for years and had writings in them, highlighters in them. Those are changing. Like
I don't
people
know.
are
I don't
noticing
know if I believe that, brother, because it's usually they're comparing it with a modern version, and so they're like, whoa. But if they go and look, it's the older version that they have, which is the correct. I don't think there's anything changed. I mean, I'd like to see some video on that. Really, huh?
The Hebrew is the scriptures.
That's right. That's what I'm saying.
The English is a translation.
And then they change it, and it does change. But it's
it.
people are getting caught up in the psychological effect, man. I'm telling you. The Bible says heaven and earth will pass away, but His word will never fail.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I think it has something to do with the King James specifically. Like I think because so many people use that, and yet someone said Amos 8, there would be a famine of the word, and it won't be found anywhere. People will look to and fro, and they won't be able to find it.
Yeah, I mean that's happening now. Darla's making a good point. That's happening now, man. People do not know their word.
Yeah.
They don't know their word, but they know about Q. They can cite Q frontwards and backwards. I'm telling you, we got a problem. We got a problem in the church. The people don't know their Bible. This is why they're being deceived. The word never fails, brother. It never failed me, and it never will. There's a reason why He's got it encoded. It's so we can test all things. And I'm telling you with very strong conviction, brother, under strong delusion encoded in the Bible, you can find Mandela effect right there. And so for anybody out there that's going down that road, I would implore you, please reconsider.
Well, I do have a thought. I'm just throwing this out there because I've seen these changes. I know that they're there. So here's the thought. What if the Mandela effect is part of creating the strong delusion? Like not as in Mandela effect itself is a delusion that distracts, but what if Mandela effect is a part of creating the delusion itself? Like as in if the Mandela effect is changing the word into something else, and this is not like there's a reason why I keep trying to go back to like the original source material. I always try to go to source material. So like I've got a copy of the Aramaic Targum. I got to check that one to see if that still says turtle doves. But I try to go to source material to find out the most uncorrupted copy I can find. Right. That's because you look at the KJV and that's got all sorts of problems all over the place already. And then on top of that, people are noticing changes happen right in front of them where their Bibles that they've had for like 50 years are literally changing them as they're reading them day to day. Like that's something weird, right? How is that possible? I don't know.
Confirm that, brother. That's someone saying.
Yeah.
I mean, unless I see that on film.
I have seen it on film. I want
to see it. I want to see that.
I'll have there's a video I'll link. I think one of the clips they had in there was people taking video footage. But the problem is that sometimes the effect bleeds into the video. So like it's an altering of reality itself. And so what happens is you take a video or a picture, and sometimes the effect doesn't affect the picture you took, and sometimes it does. So it's when you're dealing with something that's like altering reality itself, everything you do gets affected. Any pictures you take, if the Bible changed when you took the pic, like after you took the picture, your picture could have changed too. Do you understand what I'm saying? Like about how that works? Like it's an underlying change of all of the underpinning of reality, and therefore everything you're doing within this reality is affected by that change. And so even taking video is difficult. Some of the videos have remained the same as when I took the video. Some of them have changed. And so it's really difficult to prove something.
Yeah. Well, I gotta have it. I gotta have 2 or 3 witnesses because
Yeah, I got you. I understand.
Tells me to stay away from it, brother. And so I would be really, really careful of strong delusion. And that's all we need to say on it. We don't need to mislead the people any further that they can't trust their Bible. And folks, I can assure you, you can trust your Bible. All right. So do we got any more codes that we need to talk about? If not, we're going to conclude here. And we will see you guys next week in another live stream. So for everyone over at YouTube land, shalom, shalom to you. We will see you next Friday.